Hi guys, this is Just Us Two Sun. I just wanted to give you an update on the fires that are going on here. Now, I intended to make a video the other day, but that didn't work out, so I will go over this with you. Here is the current large incidence map, and as you can see, we have 5 fires. Let's see, the first one is the Thomas Fire, and now there's 230,000 acres, which is a 61% increase just from yesterday. Now, when I had looked at it yesterday, it was at 143,000 acres, and it was 10% contained. When I first made the video before, it was 90,000 acres, and it was at 5% contained, but now it's at 10% contain. It was at 10% containment. They still expect it to be contained by December 24th. It was 143,000 acres yesterday, and now it's 230,000 acres today. Still, the cause remains quote-unquote undetermined. Well, if you've been watching, paying attention, you obviously know what I think caused these fires. Now, let's go on to the other fire here. Skirball Fire is at 422 acres. Cause not reported, which is weird. 85% contained. They expect it to be completely contained by December 17th. And the Rye Fire is, well, last time I checked, it was at 7,000 acres, which then it went down to 6,049 acres, which is kind of weird because it went down. And they said it was 93% contained. I'm looking at my notes here. But as of today, it's 6,049 acres still. 93% contained. Maybe it hasn't been updated. They still they still expect it to be done or contained by the 15th. And then we have, wish I would stop jumping down. We have the Creek Fire, which when I first made the video, it was at 12,605 acres. It was 10% contained and expected to be contained on December 23rd. The last time I checked, it was at 15,619 acres, which it's still at, and still 95% contained. And the expected date is still the 13th. And number 5. The Lilac Fire, 4,100 acres, San Diego County, California. I did not report on this one before because it did not exist yet. Then it just sprung out of nowhere. So cause, once again, not reported, of course. And they say it's 80% contained. As of yesterday, it was 75% contained, and the acreage hasn't changed. And the containment date is still at December 21st. So I just wanted to compare those numbers to the numbers that I had found on December 7th, which was, well, for the Creek Fire, let me go back to the first one. From the Thomas Fire, it was 90,000. And I already went all over this stuff, so I'm not going to bother with that, but that was the previous video I did. So now this was from ABC News 10 on December 7th, and they say they were nowhere near contained, and this is on a Lilac Fire. Now this one, if you look at this picture on the right, Do you see a path to where that fire could have gotten to those houses? I don't. I don't see a path of fire. I just see the roofs completely gone off of these houses, and I just see the insides just being melted to the core. I see all these green, lush vegetation all around it, and you gotta wonder what you can trust from these guys, what they're gonna say, because I don't know if I would trust anybody from the government, really. But just go through. They keep showing this house, and then here's where they sprayed the helicopter sprayed the fire deterrent, so hopefully that it won't spread. But look at this picture, this aerial picture. Like, you can't see a path to how those houses could have possibly caught on fire. There is nothing else on fire but those houses right there. So how does that make any sense? The trees are perfectly fine. There's nothing else on fire in this shot here. Nothing else at all. So does that make sense? That these houses would just spontaneously combust from the inside out? That their roofs would just completely collapse inside and everything would be burnt down to the ground? Does that make sense? People are still driving around. You see cars. So obviously there's no path of fire that went to this place. It was zapped in some way, whether it be directed energy weapons, microwave technology, 5G network, or the smart meters that are in the homes. And I really think it's got to be a combination of those. And let's not forget the chemtrails that are sprayed on us every day, just dumping tons and tons of aluminum, strontium, barium, sulfuric acid. I mean, come on. And lithium. Highly combustible things, right? That are just getting sprayed on top of everything. But if this was a wildfire, which some parts are, where the, hillsides are on fire. But I think that's all been planned. I think it's all been planned to make it look like a wildfire. But then you see this house sitting all by itself, which makes no sense at all. Here is a really big structure that is on fire, and there's nothing else on fire around it. Nope, just the insides. Just the insides. I don't know. Looks kind of like a mansion, or who knows what that is. I don't know what that is. What kind of house that is. Or building. Maybe I'll let it play out, but I'm going to speed it up because I don't want to hear these guys. They just repeat themselves.
Status of the evacuations and law enforcement aspect of this emergency.
Sorry. So there you can see the fires burning. Lots of big bushy trees around them, and I don't see a fire path. I just see buildings, either already burnt to the ground or on fire currently. And then there's other structures that are completely fine. And you know what? I wonder, why would they leave the gas on if there's a fire? Why would they leave the gas on? And something about these fires reminds me an awful lot like what we saw with the Santa Rosa fires. House, 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 house. All the vegetation in between just perfectly fine. And you know what? This really makes me sad that this is, San Diego. I used to go to Oceanside and Carlsbad all the time. I used to go to Escondido all the time. Whenever we would be out there, we'd always stay on the beach in a condo. So, I hope those places will be okay. I hope people look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. Does that look like normal to you? And you know what that actually looks like to me? It looks like a mobile home park. Doesn't it? It looks like a mobile home park that has a community center, a lap pool or a tennis court there. Oh man. Now just, how did those houses just seem to catch on fire when there's other houses around them that are not on fire? It's just like they went like with a huge directed energy weapon and just went zzz, like a lightsaber, you know? And actually there's this video that a commenter sent me that I'll try to find, where I didn't have it planned for this, but there's a strange sound that these people who were evacuating heard. And yeah, that looks like mobile homes to me. Those are mobile homes. You know? Double wide, single wide. They're burnt to the ground. Just totally burnt. And you know what? They mostly have concrete underneath them. So, because they need, you know, firm ground to stand on. So, it looks like they have mostly concrete underneath them where the fire trucks are parked. Not really a lot of vegetation. So, yep. And I don't know if you guys heard about the horses that they had to evacuate. Just really sad that some of them died. Look at that. The heck is going on? And okay, I'll leave a link in the description for that video. Here is some news. I'll have to slow it down, kind of. Or actually, I'm sorry, speed it up.
This evacuation center opened 24 hours for all people affected by the fires, including those in San Diego County. And we could start seeing people show up right here to this parking lot with their trailers and their horses, because things are ugly down south. The Lilac Fire in San Diego County doing what the Thomas Fire did in Ventura County.
A very eerie orange smoky glow off in the distance. You can tell that the fire is still actively burning out here in the Bonsall area.
Flames taking over living rooms, destroying homes, including a few rows of mobile homes.
Yep, mobile homes. Just burnt completely from the inside out. Look how the vegetation on the outside of the garage is. Just fine, right? Just fine. The hose is fine. You know, the bushes are fine. The trees in the back are fine. It's just the house spontaneously combusting from the inside out.
Devastating lives around the holidays, and there's little firefighters can do when it looks like this.
These are fully involved. There's nothing we can do about it. We're going to let those burn down to the ground. Once they do, we're going to cool them. We have crews surrounded this whole area. We're going to make a stand, and we're going to protect all the ones that we can.
At San Luis Rey Downs in Bonsall, tens of thousands of dollars ran from the racetrack. An incredible sight, a stampede of thoroughbred racehorses set free, flight instinct triggered. Some horses afraid to run, but it's their only chance at surviving a fire that can race just as fast as they can. A much calmer scene in Murrieta as pets and people head home after evacuating because of the Liberty Fire.
We got lucky. I want to say the flames were about a quarter mile away from us this afternoon, and it wasn't looking real good because the wind was really kicking up and the flames were really coming. So, but we just got notified that our area is okay. So, yay!
I wonder how long that will last for these people who are told to go home. It seems a little fishy to me that they were told that they could go home when it was just a quarter of a mile away from them. I mean, are they planning to send these people to their demise, to their doom, to their deaths, just so they can go home at night and that their house can catch on fire in the middle of the night? I surely hope not.
And of course, people here in Murrieta happy about their homes, but devastated for the folks in San Diego, including those horses. Some of the animals were taken to the Del Mar racetrack. Now, you should know racehorses, thoroughbred racehorses, they have a tattoo under their lips, so their trainers should be able to identify them down the road when they do catch up to those horses who were set free. I'm Crystal Cruz, live in Murrieta tonight. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Team coverage.
I'm sorry. That is just so sad about the horses there. To have them get lost is so sad. But they're free. They were racing horses. They fed people's betting desires. Fire Captain John Lord. Yeah. Okay. So, this guy, he talks about, he's having an interview. And he's talking about the fire. And I'm not wanting to make this video too long, but I'll try to get to the parts of it.
Directed energy weapon that you could consider as a possibility in your experiences of all the firefighting you've done?
There's none that I could think of. There's none.
So this is the only plausible explanation that's being presented?
It's the only plausible explanation, in my opinion. That's the conclusion that I was brought to, based on my almost 30 years of experience.
And you know that steel melts in thousands of degrees and all this, and to see steel bent like that, but have vegetation and plant life and eucalyptus trees.
The holes that were burned through the hoods of cars all the way through the engine block are a little bit suspicious.
Wasn't that crazy?
Yeah.
The aluminum on the ground that had melted to the ground where the guy was walking over it? Okay.
That I've seen before. We had a tanker fire, a gasoline tanker fire on 101, and the gasoline fuel is moved around in aluminum tanks like that, thick aluminum tanks. And that one caught on fire and melted the aluminum like that.
Right.
So I have seen aluminum melt like that in a structure fire or other fire.
Let's talk for a sec about how a firestorm creates. And it's my understanding that a fire has to build its fuel and consume its oxygen to intensify over time as heat builds up over time. But we're having this firestorm. These fires happen in a matter of a couple hours and created thousands of degrees temperature without any provocation from fuel to build itself. It just happened, it seems like.
Yeah. It seems like...
Right. I mean, that's the only. I mean, it just happened over a couple hours, and then it was just about, how the fires were spreading. But the initial destruction was here, there, and everywhere, and everything down to the bone of the homes, literally, where all that's left is the fireplace. But there's no iron tubs, there's no granite counters. I mean, we went through Old Redwood Highway here and went Mark Rest Road, and it was just amazing how there was nothing left. I mean, nothing.
Yeah.
And the fires, they were out there within a few hours. So what could have caused that?
A normal temperature up high in a fully involved structure fire is around 1100 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
That's normally what we consider operating fire conditions, about 1100 degrees. The fact is that there's a lot of plastics inside households right now, so plastics liberate a lot more heat than wood would, about twice as much.
Did you hear anything about blue lights being seen, and
Yes.
anybody saying that?
I saw the photographic evidence on the internet.
Did you see, I heard of anybody else commenting that they've seen blue lights, like they've been commenting on my site, that I saw blue flashes, I saw it, and other people have been saying it as well.
Yeah, just some in passing, but I saw actual photographs that people took from their cell phones, their cameras.
All right, and then how do you feel about learning that the Planning and Zoning Commission is having the exact same footprints nearly as these fires were, and that now they're declaring some of these areas from a previous fire that could be deemed a severe zone, that maybe they shouldn't be rebuilt now? Have you had a comment on that?
Well, I guess my comment would be that I'm fully aware of Agenda 21 and that it doesn't surprise me one bit.
And I will leave that at that. I'm going to put all the links of these in the description for you, so if you want to watch the rest of Fire Captain John Long, I think that was his name, or, sorry, of this Fire Captain's, discussion about what he saw and what he, as a fireman, experienced and has had experience with, and what he actually thinks. I will leave that in the description for you to watch. And wait, let me go back. Okay, so just to give you a heads up, this is what some person thought the directed energy weapons might sound like. And if you watch this, you'll see that there are explosions when you hear the sounds. It's creepy. Look at that.
So this is the Thomas Fire, seen from South Mountain Road.
So yeah, someone was kind enough to send that to me and say this might be what they sound like. So thank you for that, and I will leave it at that, guys. So have a great night. I will put the links in the description, and I pray that everyone is safe and in a safe place in California. And just in general, I hope that everyone out there is safe. Stay safe. Keep yourself on the Yahusha's side. Stand with them. Be there with him and Yahusha and his father Yahuwah, okay? Because they are going to protect you in these tribulation times, and you have to reach out and pray for protection and pray for others to have protection, and hopefully to wake up others. So I pray for all you guys to be safe out there and wherever you are and whatever comes next, because seriously, it's like one thing after another. I mean, there was a pipe bomb that went off on a guy in a New York subway today. So, the news is constantly changing. I don't know if it's a false flag, but with something as disastrous as a fire that is just everywhere, or a flood. I mean, there are floods happening all over the world right now in places you wouldn't even think that they would happen. Like in the middle of the desert. Like in the Middle East and stuff. There's all kinds of floods going on all over the world. There's earthquakes. There are volcanoes erupting. The earth is on fire. And I believe Yahuwah is very, very upset with a lot of people. And that this is punishment, possibly, as well. In whatever way he chooses his punishment to come, in whatever form that is, then that's the way it is. But also, the people who are doing this, they're going to get their punishment too. So, I would just say to be on the right side of Yahweh. Don't cross Yahuwah, okay? Don't cross Yahuwah. And put your faith and love and trust into his son, Yahusha. And that's all I'm going to say for tonight, guys. So, shalom.